Yep, and just look straight into here, and that all looks wonderful. And yeah, I don't even know, you got a story, I'm sure too. When Michael, I don't know if Michael called, or did you hear about this through social media, or first, where'd you first hear about the Peacekeepers?
So I called Michael because I really felt that we needed to have the voice of our youth elevated in these conversations, and seeing the demographic of people who are out demonstrating were very diverse, but predominantly very young people. And so he said he had some young people in mind, and then he did mention the Peacekeepers to me, and I'm like, that is an excellent idea.
Keep looking up to answer.
That's an excellent idea. And so, I said, well, let me know how I can help. You know, I do have a background in this, and I definitely will help support in any way you feel you need my expertise in. And so he brought me on board right away.
Absolutely. And speaking of your support, you know, beyond just being president of the school board, I mean, you have a background in diffusing difficult situations, which is exactly what a peacekeeper probably needs to have that experience in. Talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think my whole career has been focused around finding community solutions to public safety challenges, and that is what this is. It is allowing a community who has been impacted by law enforcement, use of force and brutality, to engage in this conversation and keep our community safe. And Peacekeepers is an excellent way to do that. And so I do have an opportunity to train peacekeepers on how to de-escalate situations, how to work with the organizers and other protests to ensure their safety, provide them water, and make sure that they have an eye on the crowd to see if anybody needs help, if anybody is in crisis, particularly during these hot days that we'll be faced with. It is an opportunity for our young people and people in our community to be involved in solutions to this complexity of the many challenges we're dealing with law enforcement. And as a former law enforcement officer, I was it broke my heart to see the brutal murder of George Floyd, and just the injustices that our law enforcement community has done to our community, particularly our Black and brown people. And we need to change that. I recognize that as a former law enforcement officer. I recognized it when I was an officer. I have really worked towards infusing racial equity within law enforcement organizations. And I understand that we cannot rely on law enforcement to solve a lot of our social justice issues, and that it's going to take a broader approach, and we can't rely on law enforcement to respond to these types of incidents, right? This is a social justice issue, and law enforcement plays a critical role, and they are partners in providing public safety, particularly when it comes to damaging property, etc. But everything else, it's an opportunity for our community to play a role in keeping our protesters safe.
That's the bottom line at the end of the day. We want everybody to go home. We want everybody to get back to their families, but we want them to have their voices heard. And if you can stand on the periphery with people that are trained to be able to help and support that mission, and also to be able to notice things that might be out of touch or not right, then that's, you kind of have to be observant. You have to have these observers watching from the side.
Exactly.
walk me through a little bit about what you're hoping training looks like. I think it's going to be like a few days, or is it just going to be a day class? What's that going to look like?
Since we are moving with a sense of urgency on this, it's not going to be a comprehensive a training program as we would want it to be. We will, though. We expect to grow this because I think this is a much needed response in our community, not only for these in this situation, but in future situations, that we will build a more robust training program around peacekeepers. But this training will be a couple hours long, and we will talk about what their role as a peacekeeper is, and how to de-escalate a situation, and how to be very observant to what's happening out in the crowd, and report any incidents to someone else to try to de-escalate a situation before it escalates to violence or damage to property. Yeah.
That's the bottom line with it all. Just trying to think if there's anything else that should be bothering you about. We've kind of talked about where this goes from here. Statewide, would you like to see this across the state? Would you like to see peacekeepers happening across the country? And are you modeling this after anyone? Are you researching and looking to see if anyone else has done anything? Or are you guys just kind of going it alone here? I'm just curious.
Yeah, some cities have implemented peacekeepers, and we will be researching on what other cities have done and what other programs look like. I know that in other cities who have implemented, they're well funded, and that is something that we're going to look into, and making sure that we're able to pay our peacekeepers to be out there. And just to note that from across the country, for those organizations that do have this, peacekeepers are from the community. They understand the community. They look like the community. They have relationships with people out in our community, and that's the important factor in this, right? And so, and it provides particularly an expertise of maybe oftentimes we don't value in people who work day in and day out in community activism, right? They are able to build relationships and de-escalate situations, and provide for good communication skills, mental health training, etc. And it does provide an opportunity to, for jobs for people, for skills that we oftentimes don't look for in people who live in our communities.
You probably have plenty adjectives just to describe the urgency. I mean, this is an urgent call, right? I mean, you guys need these troops, essentially, these peacekeepers, as soon as possible.
Yeah, we need them as soon as possible. And as Tim said, that we hope to be out there tonight, this weekend, and really learn from this experience. Get people out there. They are eager to start. They want to help support. And this is a way for them to support our organizers and our protesters and our young people. So it is, we're moving with a sense of urgency. We will learn. We will, debrief after each event and learn from our experience, and in hope of expanding this and make this a structural change within our community.
It sounds like we would like to grow this even further. What would you like to see this look like a week from now, if we are continuing down this road here?
Yeah, I mean, a week from now, I think we will be better off. I think the first few times we're out there, we'll learn from that experience. I think the biggest thing is building those relationships and trust for people who have been out there for the past several days. And I would expect that some of the peacekeepers have been out there. And so it is setting the foundation, building those relationships, and we will learn from that experience. And we'll have a better understanding of what is happening communication with the Madison Police Department and the organizers to ensure all are safe.
That's it.
Parade today.
Yeah,
Okay,
it looks
I
like
thought
a
it was last night.
large crowd. They had one last night too. Yeah. No violent incidents after fourth night of protest. That's great. Night. I mean, it was nice weather last night. Madison police report no incidents were reported after protesters left the Capitol Square around midnight.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we want
Yeah.
to see.
That's really important.
That is, isn't that great? So I think our peacekeepers really, their role is going to be,
Keep people safe.
keeping people safe, handing out water,
Yeah.
checking in on people,
Yeah.
right? And
And let people express their,
Yeah.
whatever they need to express,
Right.
get it out.
yeah,
And it kind of reminds me of, and this is not a good analogy, and we probably shouldn't
here.
take this,
Yeah.
but it kind of reminds me of like a relationship.
What's
If we're in a relationship and you have something to tell me, but I'm not listening,
Right.
and we're not connecting, it doesn't get resolved.
Exactly.
So I just think it's so important that, all of us stop, listen, and try to understand, where people are coming from and what they're really feeling, and then together come together. But I think it starts with understanding and listening.
Yeah.
And then actions and change. If it was a relationship, you tell me you don't like me to do something, I hear you, and then I don't do that.
Right.
And that's how we continue with our relationship. And I think that's what needs to happen in a community too. Is we have to hear each other, we have to listen, and then we have to put that listening into actions. And
Right.
if I had a hope, that would be what happens.
Yeah.
Here. And I think we can do that if we all participate. Not just the black community,
Right.
participating,
Exactly.
or just
Like
the
everybody.
police participating. I think we all, as a community, have to participate.
Yeah.
Even if it's, that much, but that much, 200,000 people ends up being something big, and that's,
Right.
if I had a hope, that's my hope.
Yeah.
you know.
I think we need time for people to heal.
Yeah, and we need to listen right
and
now.
we need to listen, right? I know they're demanding action, and I think we need that time to listen, like you said, and
Yeah.
heal. People need to heal from this.
Yeah.
We all need to heal from this.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah.